If you don't foreshadow correctly, you may lose your reader or get a bad review. So on your first page, you want to set the scene. You want to give out promises, if you will, to your reader to let them know what kind of story this is going to be. Now, in my book, It Was Buried, Sigtuna, 1853. I'm going to look at my opening page and I'm going to show you, I'm going to explain why I wrote what I did and a little bit of foreshadowing that is going on to let you know what kind of story we have in store. Now, I read you the opening page. Let's see if we can figure it out what the foreshadowing is. Chapter 1. It was buried. Should it have stayed buried? So even in my opening words there, I'm creating not just a hook, but I'm sort of foreshadowing that something's going on. So the first line, it was buried, is saying something was buried. And the fact that I use the word it, it's kind of showing you it's a little bit mysterious. And then writing, should it have stayed buried? I'm asking the question, well, this isn't like finding a big hunk of gold because you want to bring that up from the earth so you can buy yourself a new t-shirt you haven't been wearing for 15 years. So the fact that I say should have it stayed buried, I'm posing the question, something's going on here. This thing may or may not be good. So let's read on and see if it's some more when I really hit the foreshadowing. Before the unfathomable which was buried would be unearthed, I uncovered something far less inexplicable, a runestone. Whoop! There's a train coming. I'll flick to the train when he comes. It's a silent train in Byron. And, oh, here he comes. It is electric, fully electric. Wave to the crowd. Wave to the little fans at home. They're all watching. They're subscribing. Subscribe. I uncovered something far less inexplicable, a runestone. The stone, being quite bizarre itself, was a hunk of granite the size of a dinner plate. Upon it a shambolic green painting of a bloated bellied monster with slobbering teeth and ferocious claws. The rock slept in a trash can, which was crafted of metallic tin, glum and shabby and resting in the shadows of the pastel red weatherboard house situated in Sigtuna's oldest medieval street, Stora Gatan. Sorry about the fake American accent that pops in every now and then, but notice some foreshadowing in this paragraph. I say that the stone, being quite bizarre itself, it's letting you know, using that word, that what's going to be unearthed later on is going to be bizarre. Okay, and then the fact that I don't just say it was a runestone that had a sun on it and some clouds, which sort of foreshadows nothing. I say it had a bloated bellied monster with slobbering teeth and ferocious claws. Now there may or may not be a big monster like that unearthed in small hamlet of Sigtuna, Sweden, 1853, but I'm letting you know it is going to be something bizarre, it is going to be mysterious, and it could just be a monster. So I'm setting the scene here. I'm portraying what's going to happen. I'm going to have to switch arms. So now the reader I'm attracting is a reader who's not just interested in a historical mystery, but they like something that's a bit bizarre and a bit weird, perhaps even with monsters, a little bit scary. So that's why you need to set the scene. You need to make these promises that this is the kind of story that you're getting. Something that's bizarre, it's a little bit scary, and these are the things to come. So someone who's looking for that kind of story is going to read on. Someone wants to read just a historical romance is probably going to say, okay, this is not for me. I'll stop reading and you won't have to worry about getting a bad review. Now I'll read on a few more paragraphs and I'll just show you a little bit more foreshadowing. My grimy hands siphon the regular stone from the scrap. Runestones are sprinkled about my hamlet of Sigtuna. This town that oversaw my birth in the world in 1832 is a peaceful settlement nestled in the province of Uppland, Sweden. Situated at the Bay Skaravan, some 40 miles north of Stockholm, the settlement's runestone tradition arose in the 4th century and survived into the 12th. Most of the runestones stem from Norsemen during the Viking Age. These stone memorials to the men of the dead are adorned with depictions and runic writings edging the stone, which tell the deceased exploits and achievements. This runestone was, of course, fake, merely a splotchy painting by a paintbrush delighted boy or girl. So I dropped it at my feet and it broke in two. My little sister, Pernilla Hawk, skipped from the front door of the house that dwelled across from where I remained at the bin. The house being the second last dwelling of the old street. It's not our house, though. We aren't fortunate enough to live amongst all those rooms. Instead, that house holds our cold garret. Sometimes our four cramped walls feel a little too comfortable for a brother and sister. Pernilla wiped her hair behind her ear, her hair catching the sun and shining like the fresh straw that sways in the summer fields. She trotted over to me at the trash can and stood staring at the broken runestone. "A monster?" she asked, voice fragmented like a crumbled stone, not her usual sprightly self. Even getting her to say a monster, it's foreshadowing. Yes, there definitely is some kind of weird things to come in the book. So the star of the show answers, "A fake runestone." "Too low?" Pernilla said, gazing up at me, a tremble in her eyes like disturbed water. "Are we going to end up like the stone? Painted on by a child? Ruined and dead." Even the fact that his little sister says ruined and dead, it's foreshadowing that there's going to be some turmoil and they're in strife. Things are coming. Subscribe to the show. Give it a thumb up. And if you want to order a copy of It Was Buried, just go to Amazon, type in Clint Lowe and you'll find it, or check out a link below. But when you are foreshadowing, when you are writing your opening, you do need to foreshadow or make promises to your readers of what kind of story is to follow. If it's a romance, you foreshadow romance. If it's something weird and freaky like this, you foreshadow something weird and freaky so that people know what kind of story is in store.